You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I've ever met. I'm stuck on your heart, I hang on every word you say, tear us apart. Baby, I would rather be dead in your heart since the start of every night.
Well, the two teams coming out, and it's once again the Cup Trail here at Odsal Stadium, Silk Challenge Cup first round, and the visitors this afternoon all the way from up in Cumbria, Workington, and nice to see that they brought quite a good contingent down with them on that long trip from Cumbria as Bradford Northern take to the field with Winston Boar. And the team news this afternoon: Bradford Northern, number 1 Keith Mumby, number 2 Tony Marchant, number 3 Steve McGowan, number 4 Daryl Shelford, number 5 Roger Simpson, number 6 is Neil Summers, number 7 Dave Watson, number 8 David Hobbs, number 9 Trevor Clark, number 10 Roy Powell, number 11 Paul Medley, number 12 Carl Fairbank, and at number 13 David Heron. Number 14 is Tony Anderson, and number 15 Paul Gratian. And the Workington team: number 1 David Loudon, number 2 Gary Smith, number 3 Tony Kay, number 4 Paul Burns, number 5 Paul Penrice, number 6 Darren Carter, number 7 Dean Marwood, number 8 James Pickering, number 9 Mark Roskell, number 10 Peter Riley, number 11 Ian Scott, number 12 Colin Armstrong, and at number 13 Martin Oglenby. Number 14 is Wayne Kitchen, and number 15 Brendan Pickering. And the man in the middle there this afternoon, David Atkins from Hull, just having a word with the two skippers as the coin goes up in the air. And of course Bradford Northern, the first game here at Odsal since way back on the 22nd of November, what with frost and matches being arranged, and obviously playing at Valley Parade, so probably a little bit strange for the Bradford Northern players playing on the home pitch. But Bradford need to bounce back after that Regal Trophy final defeat last week at the hands of Wigan, and nice to see Daryl Shelford back in the side after that bout of flu. And also Workington, they're probably in for a good game this afternoon as they ran Wigan close in that Regal Trophy up in Cumbria a month ago. So Northern to start the game. Tony Marchant there, just Neil Summers it was, with the headband on. Suffered 4 stitches in a head wound last week in that Regal Trophy final as Workington come with the first charge there. And a little bit of a knock on there, but referee giving a penalty there against the number 11 Ian Scott, not playing the ball correctly, throwing the ball back through his leg. So a chance for Bradford Northern to make further inroads into the Workington half of the field. Pitch looking a little bit heavy, but looks as though it's been spiked yesterday as Bradford up on the 10-metre mark. First ball out to David Hobbs, but Hobbs well met there by 3-4 Workington tacklers, pulled David Hobbs down. Roy Powell takes the charge up. Powell straightens up, but no way through as the Workington defenders very, very quickly off the line. Bradford with the little run round. Nice little dummy there as Medley out wide, but Medley no way through as the defence gets across there. David Hobbs once again turning his back, but nobody coming for that little short ball off of David Hobbs. Northern just 3 yards short, but it's 4 tackles gone as Carl Fairbank, but Fairbank pops one out of the back door, and Workington down on the loose ball there, but referee David Atkins saying the number 8 there, James Pickering, knocked that ball forward, so that'll be a scrum down. Head and ball to Bradford Northern as the Workington supporters on the terracing here showing the displeasure at Mr. Atkins, but Norden now with Daryl Shelford. Shelford straightening up. Shelford half through the gap there, but good covering tackling there by Olgunby. And once again a penalty by Workington for laying on. And that's 3 penalties to Bradford, and we're only in the first couple of minutes of this game here at Oddsall, this first round of the Silkcut Challenge Cup. And Colin Armstrong there just questioning the referee's decision, but David Atkins telling them that he wants to let the players get up quickly, keep the ball moving. So David Hobbs with a relatively easy kick just to the left-hand side of the uprights. Chance to open Bradford Norden's account. So Hobbs strikes the ball sweet, straight between the posts. So as we come up to 2 minutes on the clock, it's Bradford Norden 2, Workington 0. So it'll be Workington to restart from the centre, and the Bradford pack just having to switch normally. Everybody kicks off towards the tunnel side, but Workington opting to go over towards the stand side. That's a good kick, but well taken there by Dave Watson. Gets the ball out to Medley as Medley puts the head down, but the tacklers up very, very quickly there on the Bradford second rowman. Keith Mumby in at first man, and Armstrong in very, very quickly there on Medley. Watson switching the ball there with Carl Fairbank. Fairbank looking to show the ball, but gets it, plays the ball quickly. Trevor Clark from acting halfback. It's the ball on to Roy Powell, but Powell offloads one out of the back door as Watson jinking, bobbing about. Looks for the support, finds McGowan in support. The ball out to Medley. Medley switches the ball inside to Marchant, but that's good cover tackling there by Workington, but Bradford prepared to keep this ball alive this afternoon as Heron, the long ball out to Watson. Watson, a long ball over the top to Fairbank as Fairbank onto Roger Simpson. Simpson trying to turn the winger there, Paul Penrice, but Penrice wraps him up well as fifth and last tackle signalled by the referee. Hobbs puts the high ball into the Oddsall sky as Steve McGowan coming in, but that ball well taken there by David Loudon, the fullback. Tap out to Workington on the 25 as Workington come driving out. There was a nice little move there between Armstrong as Workington need to get the forwards running now and make some inroads into the Bradford half of the field. As that's good running there. Nice little inside ball there to Armstrong as Armstrong makes another 15-20 yards towards that Bradford post as the ball goes back to Loudon. Loudon pops the kick over the top, but that's well fielded by Tony Marchant. Marchant goes round the outside of one. That's good running by the Bradford wingman Marchant. Gets the ball out of danger there, out of his own 25. So Bradford come again with Dave Watson. Watson lays the ball off to Fairbank. Fairbank straightening up, but just couldn't release that ball there to the supporting Heron. Roy Powell. Powell looking to make that half break, but once again the Workington tacklers up there very, very quickly. David Hobbs. Little runner, and that's a beautiful ball there. Out to Steve McGowan. McGowan's in the clear. Just the full-back to be. Gets the ball to Marchant. And that was classic centre play by Steve McGowan. Drew the full-back, but it was all that break. That little run round with Dave Watson, and then quick hands on to the supporting Steve McGowan, and classic centre play there from McGowan. Drew the full-back, and Tony Marchant romped in at the corner, unopposed, to extends Bradford lead now. It's now Bradford Norden 6, Workington 0. We played some 6 minutes in this game. Bradford prepared to throw the ball about this afternoon, and Workington riding high in the third division at the moment, and probably the pace of Bradford should be able to keep Workington at bay, but running the ball up the middle, on looking at Workington. They're up very, very quickly around the men at the play of the ball, so Bradford need to move this ball out wide. So David Hobbs from the far touchline, that's a good kick, but just drifting out to the right hand side of the uprights. So 6.5 minutes into the game, Bradford Northern 6, Workington 0. So Dean Marwood from the centre spot will restart this game. That's a good deep kick as Watson just lets the ball bounce once, twice, but offloads the ball to Medley as Medley puts that little explosive burst on, but once again there's 3 or 4 tacklers there. Martin Oglenby, Keith Mumby coming up from full-back. Mumby breaking through one tackle, but it was a good tackle there by Peter Riley that Ian Scott it was that pulled Mumby down as Northern come again with Dave Watson. Watson laying a nice little ball back to Roy Powell, but Powell running straight into the waiting arms there of Peter Riley. Trevor Clark, little dummy there, that's good play by Clark. As Neil Summers on the burst, Summers looking to offload the ball round his man there, but Watson puts the little chip over the top. That's a good kick by Watson, and that touched the Workington player, so referee heading ball to Bradford Northern. Nice little kick through there from Dave Watson, and the Workington man just touching the ball as Watson gets the ball from the back of that. Was a good heel by Bradford Northern as Northern with Mumby. Little run round there, the little dummy run as Mumby came in from deep from full-back, but Heron on the ball again. Heron gets the ball out to McGowan. McGowan onto Marchant. Marchant props, looks to step inside, but the Workington cover defenders there getting across. Gary Smith, the man to put a hand on Marchant first. Heron, the long ball out to Shelford, but Shelford not really coming at pace there, and he's brought to ground on the 10-metre mark. Fairbank. Medley coming on the charge from deep. Medley beats one, but finally grounded just 5 yards short of that try line as Northern worked the little move again. It's Carl Fairbank with the head down. Fairbank offloads the ball to Heron. Heron dips his shoulder, but 5th and last tackle signal by the referee. Watson dancing, bobbing about, finally gets the ball out at the second attempt as Medley straightens up. Medley gets the ball onto McGowan. McGowan out to Mumby. Mumby feeds Marchant. Marchant in for his second try, but referee pulls them back for a forward pass there. Bradford kept that ball alive on the 6 tackles, so that's the handover to Workington, but Paul Medley in there very, very quickly at that play of the ball. Wraps the Workington player up. So Workington pinned in their own 25, and Carl Fairbank up there very, very quickly. Workington coming driving with Armstrong, the big number 12. The ball back to Loudon as Loudon puts a good kick over the top, and Keith Mumby safe as houses at the back there, and of course Keith back here at Odsal after that 2-year absence and still showing all the class of a world-class fullback, some 18 years in the game. That's a beautiful ball onto Fairbank. Fairbank's in the clear. It's the ball onto Watson. Watson onto Simpson. Simpson bounces out of one, but Simpson finally brought down on the 25. Northern keeping the ball alive. Heron onto Summers. Summers straightening up. Summers going towards the try line, but he's grounded just 10 metres short. Watson, the long ball out to Medley. That's a good ball as Medley lays the ball back inside, but referee pulls them up for a knock on there. Medley dropped the ball off short to Marchant, but Marchant just couldn't take the ball, so down will go to scrum on the 10-metre mark. And referee just stopping the clock. There's a player injured there in the centre of the park. Looks like Ian Scott, the second row man, just receiving attention there from the physiotherapist. Oh, that's good. Scott back on his feet, so referee signals to the timekeepers to set the clock running again, but it's head and ball to Workington on that 10-metre mark. The ball out there, and the winger Gary Smith coming in from that pass from Dean Marwood as Workington come again with the big number 8 James Pickering, but that was a good tackle by Roy Powell on Pickering as Armstrong takes the drive up, but once again the Bradford tacklers in very, very quickly. Roskill on the ball, but he's brought down by David Hobbs. Drive being taken up by Peter Riley, but Riley's well held there once again by Dave Heron. Once again the ball goes back to Loudon as Loudon steps out of the attempted charge down there, and that ball's well taken by Roger Simpson inside his own 25 as Simpson sets off across the park. Got out of the clutches there of Armstrong, but finally brought to ground. Mumby takes that first drive up, and Mumby makes 10 yards again. Watson on the ball, lays the little ball back to David Heron. Heron sidestepping about there, looking to make the half break, but the working defenders holding on as Roy Powell. Powell still stood up, but finally thrown to the ground, just short of the halfway line. David Hobbs on the ball, and a bit of a suspicion there of a forward pass as David Hobbs set off a little bit early there, but referee signals the last tackle again as Watson puts the high ball towards the fullback. That was well taken by David Loudon. Loudon sets off, and the chase is up there very, very quickly for Bradford Northern with Keith Mumby, so it's Workington driving the ball out again. Scott on the ball, but Scott's forced back there by 3 Bradford defenders. Armstrong offloads the ball. That's a nice little ball out to Roskill as Roskill brings the big number 8 Pickering into play. Tony Kay in the clear. Kay bursts the tackle of one, and Kay going all the way, and that was weak tackling there by Bradford Northern, but credit to Tony Kay. He came up at pace there. That nice little ball laid back by Mark Roskill, and Kay using his size and his strength to burst the tackle, push Dave Watson out of the way, and Tony Kay opens Workington's account with a try just to the left-hand side of the uprights. So Workington coming back into this game. We played some 15 minutes of this first half of this first round of the Silkcut Challenge Cup. And the scrum half, Dean Marwood, finds the centre of the post. So as we come up to 16 minutes, it's all squared again. Bradford Northern 6, Workington 6. So Workington come driving out now with Peter Riley, but Riley's grounded on the 25. Once again, good enterprising running by the Workington Packers. Pickering once again, but Pickering makes a good 15-20 yards up to the halfway line. That's a nice ball back inside once again to Pickering as Pickering dips the shoulder, pops the ball out the sideway, but that's well picked up by Gary Smith, but wrapped up by Tony Marchant. Workington prepared to run at the Bradford defence and up into the Bradford half of the field now, but it's 5 tackle signal by the referee as Marwood puts the high kick towards the touchline. That's a little bit of a cross kick as Tony Marchant underneath it, but that's swept up at the back. Mumby sweeps up at the back. That's a good relieving run by Keith Mumby, gets the ball out to his 25. Medley gets out of one, but Paul Burns there wrestles him to the floor. Watson taking that first drive up, but Workington in very, very quickly there to snuff the threat of Dave Watson. Norden moving the ball out to Summers. Takes the drive up, but he's well met there by 3 Workington players. Carl Fairbank from the acting halfback lays the ball inside to Daryl Shelford. Shelford did well to hang on to that. Offloaded a good ball there to David Hobbs, and Trevor Clark in support, but it's the 5th and last tackle now as Bradford still in their own half of the field. The ball back to Keith Mumby. Mumby puts a long kick, and that's a good kick by Mumby. Makes David Loudon chase back, but Loudon's up to the 25. That's a good tackle there by the chasing there of Carl Fairbank. Gary Smith on the ball, but all Smith could do was just take it up to one man, but Workington coming running again with Paul Burns. Good supporting play there, but that ball going loose, and referee Mumby there bravely down on that ball, smothering the ball. Referee was looking for the advantage, let the advantage go. Bradford in possession as Simpson, the little run round there with Watson, but no way through there for Roger Simpson this time as the defence is up very, very quickly. Summers thrown to ground there by his opposing number 6, Darren Carter. McGowan takes the ball up from acting halfback, makes 10 yards. Hobbs, long ball out, that's a good ball by David Hobbs. The ball over the top there as Carl Fairbank. Referee saying play on as that ball back to 1. It touched the Workington players, so he waves it back. 6 more tackles now for Bradford Northern as Dave Watson gets the ball on to David Hobbs. Hobbs goes down under a good tackle there. Roy Powell. Powell pushes one off, but looks like nice little dummy there by Trevor Clark as the number 13 Oglenby ran through the gap. Heron on the ball now. Heron lays the ball back inside to Fairbank. Fairbank on to Hobbs as Norden. Watson straightens up. The ball back to Trevor Clark. McGowan on the ball now. McGowan straightens up, goes towards the post, but a lot of movement here by Bradford Northern, but not a lot of ground being made as Carl Fairbank. Fairbank in the clear, gets the ball out to Watson. Watson over the top to Roger Simpson, and Simpson scores a second try for Northern in the corner. Northern kept that ball alive, and the Workington cover stretched a little bit as Dave Watson floated the ball over the top to the Bradford wingman, and Roger Simpson popped the ball down in the corner. So Bradford back in the lead. 19 minutes midway through the first half of this Silk Cut Challenge Cup first round. It's Bradford Northern 10, Workington 6. And once again the game just held up there. An injury to a Workington player on the 10-metre mark. David Hobbs with a long kick from the touchline, but Workington showing plenty of spirit here at Odsal Stadium this afternoon. And it looks like an injury there, so the number 14 Wayne Kitchens going to go onto the park. It's the hooker Mark Roskill that's coming off. It's like some sort of shoulder injury there, the way that the physio's just holding his arm up. So David Hobbs with the conversion attempt strikes a good ball, but that ball just pulling to the left hand side of the uprights. So onto the field goes the number 14 Wayne Kitchen as Mark Roskill's led off down the tunnel, and obviously some attention there from the doctor. That looking like a little bit of a shoulder injury. So Bradford back in the league. Dean Marwood to restart the game. Pops the ball down the other side this time as Fairbank on the drive up to the 25, but well met there by Tony Kay as Roger Simpson gets out of one. That's a good little darting run by Roger Simpson from the acting half-back. Finally pulled down there by Paul Penrice as Shelford comes in off the little short ball there. The ball laid back to Powell. Powell still on his feet. Offloads the ball to Watson, but Watson still dancing, still bobbling about. Finally gets the ball away to Trevor Clark. Clark onto Medley. Norton keeping this ball alive as David Hobbs, a long ball out. That's a bit of a bad pass there as Tony Marchant finally gets the ball at the second attempt. The ball back inside to Mumby. Beautiful dummy by Keith Mumby. Mumby straightens up. And that brings the Bradford crowd to the feet. 18 years ago since Keith Mumby made his debut at Odsal, and still showing a touch of class as David Hobbs takes the drive up. And Northern keeping this ball alive as Watson straightens up again. One little flip out of the back door there to Neil Summers, but Summers finally grounded on the 10-metre mark as referee signals the fifth and last tackle. Watson floats a long ball over the top to Shelf, and Shelford puts that ball down, so referee's going to give the knock on there. It's the handover, didn't allow the advantage to go, which was a little bit silly as Workington were in possession and in the clear. So Workington looking to drive this ball out, but two good tackles there from Paul Medley. And of course Medley had that superb tackling game in that Regal Trophy final last week against Wigan. Colin Armstrong, that's a good ball out from Armstrong, but referee spotting the forward pass there as Armstrong managed to offload that ball. So down we go to scrum inside the Workington half of the field. It's head and ball to Bradford Northern. 25 minutes into this game, it's that scoreline. Bradford Northern 10, Workington 6 as Northern come away with the ball. That's a good ball out from Summers, but bit of a rocket pass there as Keith Mumby couldn't take the pass, and Workington come up with the ball there through Paul Penrice as Penrice on the halfway line. Workington work the short side, and that's a good tackle by Roger Simpson. Workington coming down the short side again with Ian Scott. Scott lays a good ball off there. Good supporting play by Workington as into the clear again. Workington with the number 13 and streaks away does Oglenby, and that's a good try. It was a good ball out as Workington moved that ball up out, and the Workington loose forward coming on at pace there, and Martin Oglenby scores a good try there. It was good build-up play. Workington keeping that ball alive, and Bradford Northern underneath the post there. David Hobbs obviously having a stern word with his players, but credit to Workington. They're sticking in there and playing some attractive football, keeping that ball alive. And a chance now for Marwood to put Workington into the lead. Marwood strikes the ball, finds the centre of the post, so Workington going to the lead here at Odsal Stadium. It's Bradford Northern 10, Workington 12 as we come up to 25 minutes, 26 minutes on the clock. So Neil Summers to restart the game, and Peter Fox did say earlier on in the week that Workington, it wouldn't be no easy ride for Bradford Northern this afternoon in the third division there, but playing some attractive football as Summers restarts the game. Tony Kay takes the drive up and makes valuable yardage out. Peter Riley taking the driver, but he's well brought down there by Paul Medley. Oglenby again on the ball, but no way through this time. This lively loose forward for Workington as Colin Armstrong takes the drive up. Workington keeping this ball alive. Workington down the short side. That's a good ball down the short side. A good tackle there on Paul Burns as referee signals the last tackle as Workington worked the short side. That ball just drilled into touch on that far side. So down we'll go to scrum on the 10-metre mark. Heading ball to Bradford Northern, but Workington have got that ball back into the Bradford half of the field, putting the pressure on Bradford Northern. And the Workington supporters singing. First time the team's been in front in this game. Summers from the acting halfback. Summers looking to get out of one. Summers looking to offload there, but didn't part with the ball. Heron straightens up. That's a good tackle there on David Heron by Oglenby. The ball switched back to Mumby. That's a good ball out. Fairbank in the clear. Gets the ball onto Shelford. That ball well taken by Shelford. Roger Simpson. Simpson goes round one. Gets the ball to Shelford. And that's good rugby by Bradford Northern. Good into passing. Carl Fairbank made the initial break. Shelford did well to take the ball. Flipped the ball out to Roger Simpson, and then Simpson beat one man, switched the ball back inside, and Shelford romped over the line for Bradford's third try of the afternoon to put Bradford Northern back in front. So David Hobbs with the conversion attempt. Bradford Northern 14, Workington 12, just that 2 points in it. After that Daniel Shelford try. Now David Hobbs just taking his time. Hobbs strikes the ball sweet. Finds the centre of the post, so that's the second goal for David Hobbs as Northern extend the lead by a further 2 points. It's now Bradford Northern 16, Workington 12 as we come up to half an hour on the clock. Quite an entertaining game here this afternoon. Workington not overawed by the sight of Bradford Northern as they were of Wigan in that Regal Trophy. So Marwood restarts the game, pops the ball along the floor. That's a good kick, but Heron just traps the ball there with his shins. Picks it up at the second attempt. Roger Simpson. Simpson props, but no way through there. The tackle of Oglenby. Roy Powell. Good strong running by the Bradford prop. Makes 15-20 yards as Bradford come again with David Heron. Heron on to Fairbank. Nice little run round, little dummy there by Heron, but Heron's brought to ground by Paul Penrice. Watson, the ball out to Medley. Medley in the clear. Medley on the charge. Paul Medley tells the dummy inside, and he got Steve McGowan on the outside. Two men on the outside as Medley, that was a try-saving tackle. Northern on the last tackle now as David Hobbs gets the ball out. Fairbank, Mumby comes back. Trevor Clark onto Shelford. Shelford straightens up, but Shelford's finally grounded, so that'll be the handover there as Bradford should have had another try. Paul Medley just elected to go inside there, so it's Workington back in possession as Colin Armstrong takes the drive out. Pickering, but that's a good tackle on Pickering by Medley. Workington prepared to keep this ball alive as Wayne Kitchen there tries to get out of the tackle of Neil Summers, but he's finally brought down. Workington coming again. Big tall centre, nice little bit of pace on him, but it's the last tackle signal by the referee as the ball goes back to Loudon. Loudon a chance to run there, but Keith Mumby takes that ball well at the second attempt. Mumby sets off up to the 25, but Oglenby up there very, very quickly on Keith Mumby. Watson, it's the ball back inside to Fairbank, and Bradford just stood about a little bit there as Fairbank offloaded that ball back to Mumby. David Hobbs taking the drive up. Hobbs sells the little dummy, gets a good ball to Trevor Clark. Clark, the ball out there to Summers, but a man on top of Summers there as he took that ball. So Bradford coming again with Dave Watson. Watson out to Fairbank. Fairbank lays the ball back as Watson flips the ball up. David Hobbs puts the kick in. That's a good chase for Tony Marchant as Marchant goes up. And that ball well taken there by Gary Smith as Workington come away with Loudon, but that's a good tackle by Summers on the Workington fullback. Smith, he's brought down again by Summers. Marwood. The ball out to Armstrong, but Armstrong's wrestled to the floor there by Roy Powell and Trevor Clark. Tony Kay on the ball, the scorer of Workington's try, gets a good ball out to Marwood. Marwood puts the kick in, and Steve McGowan a long chase back there, but that ball goes into touch just inside the Bradford 10-metre area, so referee will bring the scrum back onto that 10-metre mark, but it's head and ball to Bradford Northern. 34 minutes gone of this first half, just a little bit of injury time. So with some 6 or 7 minutes to the half-time hooter, that scoreline, Bradford Northern 16, Workington 12 as Bradford come up with the ball from that scrum. Summers taking the drive up. Mumby, first man in, ducks under one tackle and gets out to the 25. Carl Fairbank. Fairbank, a good ball inside to McGowan. McGowan gets the ball out over the top to Roger Simpson. Simpson props inside, straightens up, sells a nice little dummy up over the halfway line. That's good running by the Bradford winger. Good cover tackling as well. Crowd screaming at the referee. Medley out on that far side again. Medley trying to get the handoff working, but the cover coming across there from Dean Marwood. Northern need the long ball out. That's quick hands as Fairbank onto Simpson. Simpson straightens up, looks for the gap. Simpson gets through one, but just couldn't get the ball out there to Fairbank. 5 tackle signal by the referee as a long ball out to McGowan. McGowan puts a little chip over the top, but not quite far enough, and that's well swept up at the back there. So Workington back in possession inside their own 25 as Oglenby takes the drive up, but he's well met there by Roy Powell and Dave Heron. Colin Armstrong got out of the tackle there and manages to offload that ball, but a crunching tackle there by Neil Summers on Wayne Kitchen as Workington, nice little interpassing there around this play of the ball. They like to switch the ball back inside, and it's opening the Bradford defence up as that ball over the top there, but that's intercepted by Paul Medley. Oh, Bradford back in position there as bit of a groan went up from the stand at the far side, so it's Watson, Green Fairbank running on as Trevor Clark did well, that ball bobbling about, but finally referee calling a halt there. Bradford trying to keep this ball alive, and the ball popping about all over the place. There's Paul Medley, just comes across, runs across at the referee there and complains to the referee. And Peter Fox just having a word with his players there. It looks like the referee's whistle had gone wrong as Bradford get the drive on, but Marwood manages to dive into that pack for the ball. So Workington driving out with Peter Riley. That's good strong running by the Workington prop. Workington working the short side. That's a good ball as Roy Powell just managing to charge that ball down, and referee saying no knock on as the Workington crowd appeal to the referee. So Roger Simpson coming up with the ball, but the game getting a little bit scrappy at the moment as referee spotting the knock on there, and a little bit of an argy-bargy there as Dave Watson and the Workington player on the floor, but referee had already blown up for that knock on at that play of the ball, and approached the half-time hoot to the touch judge on there, just having a word with Mr. Atkins. Obviously better cited for that infringement there. And it's Dave Watson who's been pulled out by the referee. So it's probably a chance for Workington to reduce the arrears. Marwood. 2 attempts at goal, yes, the penalty awarded there for an attempted strike in that tackle. And Marwood elects to go for goal. It's only that 4 points difference, so 2 points could make all the difference at the end of this game. On the 39th minute, so Marwood with a chance to reduce the arrears for Workington. Strikes the ball well. That's a good kick by Marwood. Finds the centre of the post. So Bradford Northern 16, Workington 14 as we approach the half-time hooter. And no doubt Peter Fox will have quite a bit to say to his players during that half-time interval. But all credit to Workington. They've come to Odsal not to defend, they've come to attack, and they've shown some nice little touches. Good supporting play, good interplay between the forwards. So the game restarted, that ball picked up by Darren Carter as Carter flips the ball up there to Peter Riley. Oglenby again, it's good running by the Workington loose forward. Pickering driving at the Bradford defence, and a penalty there, not getting up and playing the ball. Penalty to Bradford Northern, trying to throw the ball between his legs. That's twice that the big number 11 there, Ian Scott's been penalised for that. So Bradford get the free kick, the ball goes into touch on the 25. Bradford with the wedge on again as Roy Powell come running from deep. Powell up over the 25, but no way through there for Big Roy. David Hobbs on the drive. Hobbs straightens up, dips the shoulder. And the half-time hooter goes here at Odsal Stadium. A good half. Bradford opening the scoring early, but credit to Workington, they came back. Bradford got another try, then Workington went into the lead, and finally Bradford's third try of the afternoon put Bradford Northern back in the lead. So the half-time score, Bradford Northern 16, Workington 14. restart the defence during that half-time break. And Bradford with the same 13 players on the park that started the game, so no substitutions made at half-time, with Anderson and Paul Gratian on the substitutes bench this afternoon, and just waiting now for the Workington players coming out. Just that 2 points separating the two teams. Now Workington led out there by Colin Armstrong, the big number 12, had a good game in the second row this afternoon. Workington keeping that ball alive and splitting the Bradford defence on several occasions. So another 40 minutes of this game left here at Odsal Stadium. So it'll be Workington to restart the second half as referee David Atkins from Hull gets the second half underway. That ball over the top there as Watson takes the ball. It's the ball to Medley as Medley sets off on a charge. Little stop and a little start there, and Medley found a gap, but the cover managing to get across as Carl Fairbank comes running now, head down. Fairbank turning there, looking to offload, but nobody coming as David Hobbs takes the third drive up now for Bradford Northern, up to the halfway line. Heron on the ball, long ball over the top there to Watson as Watson brings the ball back across this side, offloads the ball there to Medley, and Medley not really expecting that ball coming there from Dave Watson. And Roy Powell just overrunning that, but referee gives the knock on there as Roy Powell spill that ball. So down we go to scrum. Inside the Bradford half of the field, it'll be Dean Marwood to put the ball in, but run against the head there, but referee saying that came out the same way. Marwood gets the ball in at the second attempt as Workington. That's a good tackle there by Keith Mumby on Tony Kay as Cade made the initial half break. Pickering taking the drive up, but he's brought to ground by Heron. Workington working the short side again. It's a good ball out as that ball there intercepted, and Bradford falling on the loose ball. Trevor Clark got a hand to it first, and it was Daddle Shelford who finally went down on the balls. Roger Simpson sets off. Crowd appealing there for a high tackle, but referee saying it was across the top of the chest on Roger Simpson. And Medley spilling the ball once again there, so Bradford all fingers and thumbs in this opening couple of minutes of this second half. Oh, Workington back in possession. Workington once again keeping this ball alive as coming up the short side with the number 8 again, Pickering. Pickering gets out of one tackle there, but he's brought down short of the 25. Workington moving the ball out as good tackle once again there on Tony Kay by Daddle Shelford. Workington charging with Wayne Kitchen, but Kitchen's grounded on the 25, so it's last tackle signal by the referee as Marwood drills a little kick over the top. That touched Trevor Clark, but referee saying no knock on there as the ball went back, and Paul Medley just swept up at the back. Keith Mumby with that little characteristic stop-start, and then sets off well off the other foot as Dave Heron. Heron looking to make the half break, but he's well tackled there by Darren Carter. Roy Powell. Powell gets out of one. Powell's brought down just short of that halfway line. On to Summers. Summers switches the ball inside to McGowan. McGowan straightens up, but 3 or 4 tacklers bring him down on the halfway line as the referee signals the 5th and last tacklers. David Hobbs puts a good kick over the top, and that finds touch just inside the Workington 25, but that'll be head and ball to Workington. Still that scoreline of Bradford Northern 16, Workington 14. And of course the Twin Towers of Wembley. This is the first game on that road to Wembley, and every player in rugby league's dream of appearing in a Wembley final. As Workington come away with that ball from the scrum. Quick play the ball there as the ball brought out there to the 25. Pickering once again dips the shoulder, and forward pass there as Pickering manages to offload the ball, but referee David Atkins on the spot there to see that forward pass. So that's the scrum down on the 35 metre mark, head and ball to Bradford Northern. And the referee just wants the packs apart, pulling them apart in. Watson, the ball in. Watson sets off on his own. There's the ball inside to Summers. Summers coming on that little diagonal run, but he's grounded on the 25 as Heron takes the drive and gets the ball onto Shelford. Shelford coming at pace, but Shelford's grounded 10 metres from that Workington try line. Carl Fairbank dips the shoulder, pops the ball back onto Watson. Watson straightens up, but Watson's well wrapped up there by Colin Armstrong, and referee giving a penalty there for a high tackle on Dave Watson. Watson looking to take a quick tap there, but the Workington players just getting a hand to the ball, and David Hobbs turning around to the referee and saying, "We'll go for goal, sir." David Hobbs with just 2 goals this afternoon. Not been kicking recently because of that problem with the knee. And the referee there, Dean Marwood, in an offside position, not 10 metres, as David Hobbs strikes the ball, doesn't wait for the referee, finds the centre of the post. So Bradford a further 2 points. It's Bradford Northern 18, Workington 14. So Marwood to restart the game, gets a low ball as Dave Heron does well there as that ball was spinning away from him, managing to go down on that ball. Medley on the charge now. Medley with that little stop-start again, but the tacklers up very, very quickly there in Oglenby and Kitchen. Hauls Medley down on the 25. Carl Fairbank on the charge. Gets a good ball out there to Shelford. Shelford can't get out of the good tackle there by Kitchen, but Bradford up to the halfway line now as Trevor Clark. The ball out to Powell, straightens up, but ball clamped there, but Powell lost that ball in the tackle there as Colin Armstrong came in, and Trevor Clark swept up at the back with that ball going forward. So that's head and ball to Workington, just inside their own half of the field, and Bradford with the big drive on again, but Workington come up with the ball with Kitchen. Still keeping this ball alive. Tony Kay offloaded the ball there, but looks like the fullback that took a little bit of a knock there. And the shouts of forward pass go up. And of course referees now under this new regime with Lawrenson, the old referee, he's now in charge of referees, and all the referees about to be videoed, so the referees will obviously want to put a good showing in. I don't know if the cameras are here today, but it's Workington on the charge again with Pickering, but Pickering's brought down as the fifth and last tackle signal. That ball gone over the top. Workington once again keeping that ball alive as the number 11 puts a good kick up, but that ball taken by Dave Watson on the full inside his owning goal area, so it's tap out to Bradford as Watson, the ball out to Simpson, but Bradford players a little bit flat there as Roger Simpson took that ball. Roy Powell had a little bit of a quiet game on the charges this afternoon. Watson trying to get out of the clutches there, but Colin Armstrong wraps Dave Watson up. Mumby doing well there. Mumby went one way and Bradford a little bit tied down at the moment. David Hobbs puts the boot to the ball. That came off a play, but it's well taken by Loudon as Loudon sets off across the halfway line. Finally brought down there by a good tackle by Neil Summers. Workington working the short side. That's good running once again by Workington. Seemed to be able to make a little bit of yardage there, this big centre, Tony Kay. And this time Ian Scott looking for supporting players, but Summers and Medley finally wrestle him to the ground. Marwood gets the ball out. Kitchen out to Scott. That's a good ball by Scott. And Kay gets out of the tackle there of Roger Simpson as that ball's popped over the top, and Oglenby just couldn't hang on to that ball this time as Dave Heron sweeps up at the back, but enterprising play once again by Workington as Daryl Shelford from the acting halfback. Shelford makes good yardage there. Good 20 yards made by Daryl Shelford from that acting halfback position. Summers with the headgear on this afternoon. As we said earlier on, he had 4 stitches in a head wound after last Saturday's Regal Trophy final. Dave Watson gets out of one. It's a good ball over the top to Medley. Medley on the charge down the wing, but the cover there of Gary Smith coming across pulls Medley down. Bradford lying very, very flat. No chance for the backs to run onto this ball as the fifth and last tackle signal by the referee. Ball over the top to Summers. Summers puts a good kick in, but that's well taken there by Gary Smith. Smith sets off across the field, but wrapped up there by Tony Marchant. Ian Scott takes the drive up there. So Workington back in possession. Tony Kay again. That's a little ankle trip there by Carl Fairbank that stopped Kay as he was just about going to full flight. And Medley intercepts there as that ball, trying to keep it alive. Summers bounces out of one tackle. Summers gets back to his feet. Good strong running by the Bradford standoffers. Workington regroup and the cover comes across. Oglenby once again. Bradford now with Roy Powell. Powell tries to hand Marwood off, but no way around Marwood this time. Dave Heron. Heron straightens up to the 25. 4 tackles gone now for Norton. Watson onto Fairbank. Fairbank dips the shoulder, looks for the supporting players. That's well picked up by McGowan. McGowan in the clear, and the poacher himself again. Steve McGowan. It was a bit of a scrappy pass that went back, but McGowan coming up at pace, picked the ball up well and managed to round David Loudon to get a try for Bradford Northern. McGowan making a habit of that. Try poacher extraordinaire. So David Hobbs with a relatively easy conversion just to the left-hand side of the post. Bradford warming a substitute up. It's like Roger Simpson coming off the park. And Tony Anderson coming on. So David Hobbs with that conversion attempt slots the ball between the posts, so that's put a little bit more of a cushion. Workington need to score at least twice now. It's Bradford Northern 24, Workington 14. And Workington also bringing a substitution on. Brendan Pickering coming on at number 15, and looks like Peter Riley, the number 10, coming off. Had a good driving game for Workington. So a pair of fresh legs on either side as we come up to the 14th minute of this second half. Marwood to restart. Pops the ball along the ground again, but that's safely picked up by David Heron. Heron sells the ball in. Referee there. Heron was dodging away. High tackle. I think more instinct than anything else that the arm went out as Heron looked to sidestep around the Workington player, and referee no hesitation in giving the penalty. So David Heron just sat having a little bit of a rest, and Bradford going to make another substitution. Paul Gratian coming on the part, and it looks like, yeah, Dave Heron doesn't want to come off, but Paul Gratian gets his chance. Been playing very, very well in Bradford Northern's Alliance team. Oh, Dave Heron. Peter Fox bringing him off the field after that high tackle. And referee just having a word there with Colin Armstrong, the Workington skipper. So, back we go, the game back in action as Summers pops the ball into touch. Paul Gratian gets his first drive. Cheer goes up from the crowd, and straight away Gratian gives away a penalty there. Going in there with the elbow into the tackler. So the free kick to Workington, first touch of the ball, and gives away the penalties. Workington pop the ball into touch. 6 tackles now for them. Game restart on the Bradford 25. Pickering takes the first drive up. And that ball lost there by Pickering in the tackle, so Bradford coming up the ball with Paul Medley. Medley spins out of one, gets a good ball onto Trevor Clark. Clark looking to get the ball underneath there to the supporting Darren Shelford, just couldn't get the ball out as Bradford switched the ball. It's Dave Watson going down the short side. Watson gets the ball over the top there, but Bradford finally go to ground on their own 25. Keith Munbit was up in support there. Gratian once again on the charge into the Workington 25. Anderson in at first man, it's the ball out to Medley, but Medley got a lot of running to do. Only Tony Marchant on the outside there. Medley's well grounded by Pickering. Summers on to Powell. Powell straightens up. Nice little return pass there off of Summers. Summers hands one off, but that ball still loose as Roy Powell. Tony Anderson on the ball, but 5th and last tackle now as once again a little bit scrappy play by Bradford Northern, but managing to hang on to this ball as Hobbs puts a long ball over the top to Fairbank. Fairbank drops the ball there as the cover came in very, very quickly, so that's the handover to Workington, and a quick play the ball there by Workington. That's intelligent play, and straight away that ball popped out again, and referee giving the penalty there. got the signal from the linesman that that ball was pulled out by a Bradford player. So Armstrong pops the ball into touch on that far side. Workington back in possession. Come driving out again with Pickering. Had a good game this afternoon. Pickering broke 3 tackles there. Got the ball over the halfway line. Ian Scott as well. Had a good running game for Workington in this second row. Along with Colin Armstrong, the skipper, as Workington get the ball back into the Bradford half of the field. Working the short side with Ogilvie. Ogilvie once again turning, spinning out of the tackle. Got the ball back there to Darren Carter, but Carter's well wrapped up by Paul Gratian. Last tackle signalled now by the referee as Workington on the Bradford 25. That ball still put down as Carter with the ball, looking to offload, but couldn't get rid of the ball there. And once again, the Workington fans saying that a Bradford player charged that ball down. It should have been back to 6 tackles. So Keith Mumby on the drive, but Mumby's well met there by Armstrong. Gratian looking to offload there. He got Tony Marchant in support, but good clamping job done there by Ian Scott as Marchant comes down the short side. Bradford Norden still not really moving this ball about as Dave Watson once again props, straightens up, but can't get out of the tackle there of Brendan Pickering, the Workington substitute. David Hobbs, little chip over the top, that's a good kick for Carl Fairbank. David Hobbs just couldn't pick his own kick up there and knocked the ball on Carl Fairbank, just overrunning that ball, but it was a good little chip over the top by Hobbs, and Fairbank just overrun the ball. And David Hobbs knocking on, trying to pick that ball up, so scrum down on the halfway line, the ball's out with Workington. It's good long ball out. And Loudon there getting out of the first tackle of Dave Watson. Scott takes the drive up again, this time Bradford clamping man and ball. Marwood on the ball. Scott, that's charged down by Carl Fairbank. Fairbank picks the ball up. Referee not giving the knock-on straight away, and on the intervention of the linesman, and the linesman a long way off that knock-on. I thought the referee was that little bit nearer. Had to look to his linesman there for judgment as Carl Fairbank charged that ball down. It's Tony Kay coming up with that ball from the resulting scrum. Armstrong, the Workington skipper, takes that drive up. Ogilvie on the ball again, but this time well wrapped up by Roy Powell. Working, switching the ball back inside, but Pickering no way through this time as the Bradford cover got across. Scott once again, that's good ball into the clear as Workington with a good chance now as the number 4 going for the corner, but didn't get the ball down as touch judge there signalled. He went in to touch first, but that was a good run there by Paul Burns. And referee just Bradford players there thinking it was a tap out on the 25. And Bradford, down we go to scrum on the 10-metre mark. Tony Marchant takes that first drive up. So Norden now with Dave Watson. Watson looking to take that drive up, and Keith Mumby out there on the wing now. Bradford doing a little bit of a switch as McGowan from the acting half-back as once again Ogilvie going very, very quickly through at this play of the ball. Tony Anderson. Anderson looking for the half break, but a good tackle there by Ian Scott. Hobbs onto Powell, but Powell turning, spinning his back. Good charging run. Powell manages to offload the ball, but this time Brendan Pickering wraps up Trevor Clark there, and referee giving a knock on. So Bradford losing a lot of ball in this second half. We played some 23 minutes. Still that scoreline, Bradford on 24, Workington 14. Bradford with the big drive. That's a good drive. One against the head, and Tony Anderson in at the scrum half position. Bradford's big pack running there. There's a little bit of a slack pass there by Neil Summers, but that's picked up well by Steve McGowan as McGowan gets the head down. But Watson onto Mumby. Mumby straightening up, straight into the waiting arms there of Oglenby. Gratian. The Workington defensive line coming up very, very quickly on Bradford, and Carl Fairbank. Fairbank slips one tackle. Got that one arm working, trying to get that ball around his man, but nowhere through this time. Summers from the acting halfback. Up to the 25, but 5 tackles signal, and Bradford seem to be all stood about in bunches as Watson drills a ball along the floor, and that's well picked up there by Colin Armstrong. That ball bobbling about round his ankles, but Armstrong doing well to pick that ball up. And once again Workington prepared to keep this ball alive. The ball out with Chris Smith. Smith bounces off one, but finally Neil Summers pulls him down at the second attempt. Medley very, very quickly there on Pickering. Tony Kay on the drive, but Medley once again having a good tackling game this afternoon. Colin Armstrong there, nice to see Workington. They have a habit of spinning round, and nice to see the players coming up in support us. The boot put to the ball there by Loudon on the 5th and last tackle, and that ball well taken there by Dave Watson. Watson looking to come round the outside, pushes one off, gets out of the clutches. Watson straightens up again. A lot of running across the path. Good ball inside to Shelford. Shelford just losing his footing. Watson must have covered about 50 yards there and went 3 yards forward. Gratian on the drive. Coming up towards the halfway line now, Bradford is 27 minutes gone on the clock as Carl Fairbank. Fairbank once again puts that ball down. It's swept up at the back by Pickering, so Bradford losing the ball again. Workington on the far side, the ball out to Kay. Kay gets a good ball inside to Marwood. Marwood in the clear. Good supporting players. Carter came up there and stretching the Bradford defence there a little bit. Once again that ball switched inside, but this time Roy Powell picking the loose ball up. So it's Bradford back in possession. Carl Fairbank. Fairbank on the drive, but nobody coming through. Intercepted there as Trevor Clark just couldn't get on that loose ball. And David Heron coming back on the park. Looks like David Hobbs coming off. Northern skipper coming off the park. So, Hobbs gets a good, generous round of applause there from the Bradford spectators, and Dave Heron back on the park. 29 minutes gone on the clock as Bradford come away with that ball from the scrum. It's Neil Summers. Summers breaks one, gets a good ball inside to Tony Anderson. Anderson on to Mumby. That's good supporting play by Bradford Northern as referee on the spot there. Keith Mumby couldn't get up, so Anderson out to Heron. Heron puts that ball down, and a knock on there as Bradford a little bit over anxious to get that ball running again, so a mistake there. A lot of mistakes made by Bradford this afternoon. The ground in good condition here at Odsal. So no excuse there for the ball going down. It's like a substitution. It's Peter Riley coming back on the field, and Martin Oglenby had a good game for Workington this afternoon. Substituted on the 30th minute of this second half, so just 10 minutes to go. Still that scoreline, Bradford Northern 14, Bradford Northern 24, Workington 14, and Workington come up with that ball from the scrum. It's Darren Carter, makes a good little dancing run there from the acting half-back position. And Pickering there just losing his footing on that drive. It's Tony Kay again, big tall centre, gets out of the tackle of one, but finally wrapped up on that far side by Keith Mumby and Daryl Shelford. Good supporting play, once again Armstrong prepared to show that ball, but this time Bradford bring him to ground as Marwood tries to sell the little dummy. 5 tackles signalled by the referees. The ball chipped over the top. That's a nice little grubber kick into space as Dave Watson picks the ball up. Watson sets off towards his own post. Finally gets the ball. Medley putting down the simplest of passes there on his own 10-metre line, and no doubt Peter Fox will have something to say about that. Shouldn't pass the ball within your own 25. Watson would have been better running that ball out as Roger Simpson comes back on the park. Daryl Shelford, the man being substituted. So Workington with the ball from the scrum on the attack now. That's a good ball over the top, and Workington get a good try there by David Loudon. A nice ball floated over the top there, and Loudon bouncing in at the corner there. And Neil Summers taking a knock there in that as referee very, very quickly calling the attention of the physiotherapist. Summers is back on his feet, looks all right. Obviously the referee there, David Atkins, a little bit of concern. But Workington coming back into this game with some 9 minutes left on our stopwatch, reducing the arrears there by a further 4 points. That very, very good try by David Loudon.
And the try score for Workington, number 1.
All coming from that bad mistake by Paul Medley. Dave Watson popping the ball up to him, and Medley putting the ball down underneath his own post. The resulting scrum, that good try by David Loudon as Marwood from the touchline, but that ball low and drifting to the left-hand side. 24 points to 18. So Northern to restart, and obviously a little bit of a shuffle going on. Well, Colin Armstrong there, just to adjudge the Silk Cut Man of the Match award. He receives £150 and a commemorative medal.
And don't forget
Armstrong, the skipper of Workington, had a super game this afternoon. And there's the Silk Cut Award man on the ball now. Armstrong taking that first drive out from the kick-off.
And for Bradford Northern supporters, there will be a game in the stadium on Wednesday night when Bradford Northern receive Hull in the Storm City Championship.
So Workington back with the ball now, driving at Bradford, got the tails up a little bit now after that try. 24-18 as with some 7 minutes left on the clock. Another try now by Workington, could really set this game alight. It's Workington up to the halfway line. Kitchen gets a good ball around his man there. Finally the player's brought down as referee raises his arm in there. It's the fifth and last tackle. The ball back with David Loudon as Loudon sets off, drills a good ball along the floor. It's picked up by Watson on his own in goal area and just managing to get out as the Workington chases up there very, very quickly. Roger Simpson. Paul Medley on the charge now, needs to make amends for that bad mistake as the Workington supporters get behind the team. McGowan taking the ball across the face of his post, and one or two of the Bradford forwards looking a bit leg weary as that ball stripped inside there from Carl Fairbank to Trevor Clark, but Clark's well wrapped up by Kitchen. Bit of a high pass over the top, that ball well taken by Gratian as Gratian looking to offload, but Workington doing a good job there, clamping man and ball as Summers puts the boot to the ball. That ball kept alive as Tony Marchant going down on the ball, but referee getting the signal there from the linesman that Gary Smith, that ball had gone into touch as Smith put the boot to the ball, so giving the scrum down to Bradford Northern. Head and ball just inside the Workington half of the field. Tony Hanson gets the ball in the scrum. Watson running up at pace, brushes one off, but once again the cover coming out of the pack very, very quickly there to bring Watson down. Heron on the drive. Heron made the half break. He got Fairbank on the outside, but good clamping job done as Roy Powell takes the charge up to the 10-metre mark. Powell turns, spins his back, but couldn't offload the ball. Watson on to Gratian. Gratian, the little dummy there, the little run round, and that's a good ball. Medley sells a good dummy, and Medley streaks in under the post. That was a beautiful dummy there by Paul Medley. Used Tony Marchant as a foil. The wingers went across towards Marchant, and Medley streaked away underneath the post. For a good try there for Bradford Northern, and that's probably now just put this tie beyond reach of Workington, but Workington come to odds this afternoon and given Bradford Northern a game. And Peter Fox said earlier on that Workington would not be an easy game this afternoon. So 5 tries for Bradford Northern. And Keith Mumby taking over the goal kicking. David Hobbs done the bulk of the kicking this afternoon, but Mumby kicked many a goal here at Oddsland. Hits the post this time, and that ball bouncing out. And the commentators, jinx goes again on the Bradford Northern kicker. I was just about to say Keith Mumby kicked many a goal in his career here at Oddsland Stadium as Mumby goes back shaking his head. That ball struck the upright and bounced out, so a little bit of merriment there from the crowd with that Keith Mumby kick. So Workington to restart the game. That's a good little short kick this time, well taken by Workington, caught the Bradford defence there as that ball popped up. So Workington in possession, and a bad mistake there. The gap had opened up. Number 14, Wayne Kitchen, putting that ball down as he was put through the gap as Watson comes again, spins out of one. But Watson's finally brought to ground. It's Bradford Northern 28, Workington 18. 10 points the difference. As Roy Powell takes the charge up. 39 minutes gone on our stopwatch, so we're into the dying minutes of the game here at Oddsall Stadium as Carl Fairbank there. The Workington players clamping man and ball. Heron switches the ball inside to McGowan. McGowan offloads to Marchant. Marchant in the centre of the park there, looking for work. The scrum cap pulled off his head there, and referee's going to give a penalty for that. And Marchant dons the hat back on as the Workington players made a grab for that, so I suppose that's classed as a high tackle, and the resulting penalty there given to Bradford Northern. Paul Gratian on the drive down the short side into the Workington half of the field. Bradford with Roy Powell now. Powell straightens up. Powell's brought down by good tackle there by Ian Scott. Both the second row pairing of Workington had a good game this afternoon as Dave Heron offloads the ball there to Trevor Clark. No way through for Clark. Touch judge on there, a little bit of a swinging arm there in the tackle on Trevor Clark. So that'll be a penalty to Bradford Northern. Trevor Clark was thrown to the ground there. The arm came swinging round. I can't see which player the referee is going to single out. Looks like the big prop, the number 8, James Pickering, that's just had a little pat on the backside by the referee and saying, come on, the game's been a good clean game. So Bradford restart with a little tap as Gratian heads towards the post. He's some 12 metres from the try line, but losing the ball there in the tackle as Gratian just remonstrating there with the referee, but referee David Atkins saying it was a knock-on. So 40 minutes up on our stopwatches. Workington come away with the ball with Tony Kay, but that's a good tackle there by Keith Mumby on the Workington centre. So there we go, the final tackle of the match. A little bit of a scrappy match, and all credit to Workington. They made that long trip down here to Yorkshire, and the supporters applauding the team, riding high in the 3rd division, but no discredit. Put up a good performance here at Odsal this afternoon, and a lot of the Bradford players, they'll know that they've been in a match this afternoon, and of course another big game on Wednesday night when Hull are the visitors here at Odsal in a rearranged game, and the Bradford public as well showing their appreciation to Workington. So that final scoreline at Odsal Stadium, first round of the Silk Cup Challenge Cup, Bradford Northern 28, Workington 18.